What's going on, everybody? My name is Tomas, and this is the Apogee Groove DAC. I need to preface this video by saying Apogee was kind enough to send this out to me for review, and because they were kind enough to do so, and I don't know a whole lot about audio, I brought a recording engineer in on this project. This is Eries Cornelius. Tell these guys a little bit about yourself.
All right, my name is Eries Cornelius. I'm a songwriter, recording engineer, music producer. I have a bachelor's degree in recording engineering. Been working in Pro Tools since about version 6. Been working with Logic Pro since, version 7, version 8. So I know a little bit about the audio world and these DAWs.
What's a DAW?
It's a digital audio workstation.
You see, that's why I brought him in on this.
All right, what's included in the box here is the Apogee Groove itself. It has a USB 2.0 connector on the top. It has a lanyard hook, has a volume up button, a volume down button, and an LED meter. On the bottom, it has an 8-inch headphone jack.
And with that, it has a non-slip pad on the bottom and is constructed out of a really nice metal. So I don't know if it's aluminum or a stamped alloy, but it is really nice. And the tactile feel of the buttons are fantastic.
The additional items included in the box are a carrying case, the manual, and a USB 2.0 cable to connect this to your computer. I think this design is extremely simple, but it's extremely accurate for the on-the-go musician. I mean, this fits well in the palm of the hand and it takes up limited space. So let's say you're a recording engineer and you're on an airplane. The tray is already really small. Your laptop's gonna be really big and clunky. You don't want some huge interface, taking up more space and maybe falling off your tray or something while you're trying to edit audio. So I think this would be great. The Apogee Groove is USB powered. It could support up to a 600 ohm load. So pretty much any set of headphones that you plug into this, they're gonna be powered. It also has a constant drive of power built into it. Therefore, there's never gonna be any spikes in your audio and there's never gonna be a loss in the quality listening experience.
When you talk about spikes in your audio, what does that actually mean to a common consumer that, for example, they're not the person that's the engineer, they're just the connoisseur that just wants to enjoy high quality audio?
So most professional audio environments, they're gonna have something called a headphone amp, and that's gonna be your Apogee Groove. This is a headphone amp, meaning there's a constant supply of power being provided to your headphones or to your source. Now, on the consumer side, maybe you're listening through a cell phone or maybe an iPod, and it's not to downplay the headphone amp that's in a cell phone or an iPod or anything like that. It just won't have the amount of constant power that a headphone amp would have.
Now that we've shown you what's included in the packaging, let's talk about what a digital audio converter is and what it does.
A digital audio converter comes into play anytime you're playing back a digital audio file into the analog realm. And basically what that means is it could be as simple as taking a set of headphones, plugging that into your cell phone, and pressing play on an MP3. A digital audio conversion has to occur to allow that digital file to be transformed into analog actual audio that you can hear through those headphones.
With that information, you're able to power headphones with high impedance. For example, the Sennheiser HD6 mixes have 150 ohms. So they're gonna sound different if you were to just plug them directly into your computer without having this in the workflow.
A headphone amp is definitely a necessity if you want a high fidelity listening environment. So let's say you're recording, you're mixing, you got everything in your session, but now you're not in the studio anymore. You're not in an environment that's capable of reproducing a high fidelity, high quality sound. That's when the Apogee Groove is gonna come into play. That's when you're gonna plug this in. This has 4 converters. It's gonna convert the sound and allow you to immerse yourself in a high fidelity, high quality audio listening environment.
Since we've explained the importance of why you need a DAC, let's talk about the specifications.
So the most important part of this digital audio converter for me is that it's USB 2.0 powered, meaning all I need is a USB cable. I'll plug this into my computer and then I can instantly have high quality, high fidelity audio coming through this. Some of the other specs are the 192K sample rate and the 24-bit depth. Now let's talk about that a little bit. When we refer to 192 kilohertz of a sample rate, basically what that means is every second of audio is being sampled by the computer 192,000 times. So on playback, you have to understand that equals very high fidelity, high quality music. Now let's talk about the bit depth. The bit depth is basically a grid, and it's the lines of resolution in which the sample rate can accurately determine where these frequencies are. So the fact that you have a 24-bit depth, you have 24 lines on this grid, and then you have such a high sample rate, you're gonna get an extremely high and accurate reproduction of the audio.
And with that information, this comes into play with recording engineers on the go. The unique thing about this Apogee product is is that it is compatible with Windows PCs. That's a huge deal.
It's the first time that it's ever been compatible with the Windows operating system.
And that is, I think that's a step in the right direction. At some point, if this is a big hit, I think Apogee is really going to have to evaluate the Windows or PC environment to where they make their products and their interfaces compatible with Windows.
Now let's talk about Apogee's ESS technology when it comes to creating this headphone amp. So basically, they've created a piece of technology that has 4 converters per channel of audio. It will upsample the audio quality of whatever the source is 4 times per each channel of audio, meaning per your left headphone and per your right headphone ear cup.
So that essentially that's upsampling 1080p to 4K footage, right? But
Right.
making it sound like it's supposed to instead of being all pixelated.
It's definitely going to provide a high definition audio quality listening environment.
Now let's look at it from the other side of the house. Let's say you're an amateur recording engineer or something. What is the benefit of having this?
The benefit of having this is that no matter what you're playing, so whether you're playing your source from Spotify or from Tidal, you're playing either high quality MP3s or you're playing high quality WAV files. And the difference there is the listening experience is going to be incredible. You know, you can't get that type of listening experience playing back through a headphone jack on a cell phone or through Bluetooth 4.0 broadcasting to your radio or something of that nature. You would need this headphone amp in order to hear all the clarity and all of the quality of those audio files, whether they're 320K MP3s or simply WAV files.
So what's the practicality of something like this for somebody that's a professional recording engineer on the go?
Extremely practical because it's so lightweight, it's so small in design, and it's so simple. You can use this anywhere in limited space and still have the same audio quality as an actual full-blown professional recording studio.
So it helps you reference your sessions, right? So you can go into a studio and record at 192, 24-bit, and know that you can leave the studio and get an accurate representation of what your project actually sounds like, right?
Absolutely. I think we have to commend Apogee on the build quality. It has a great aluminum build and aluminum finish, and it's also built in the USA.
So those of you familiar with my channel know that I like to give samples, and with samples I try to give the closest and most accurate representation of the sample through this video. Eries has thought up a really creative way of testing this thing and emulating it to you.
So as Tomas said, we're going to get into testing the Apogee Groove. Now the way we're going to test this is we're going to go line out audio out of the MacBook Pro. We're going to go directly into the interface and record that into Pro Tools. And that's basically just going to give you the everyday average consumer line of audio in the way or in the form or fashion that a consumer actually listens to their audio. Then we're going to take the Apogee Groove. We're going to go line out of the Apogee Groove into the interface and record that into Pro Tools. And Tomas will provide both samples of audio to you guys. Okay, now we're going to get into testing the Apogee Groove. This is the conclusion of the Apogee Groove audio test, in which we took a sample of audio at 48K, we put it into the Pro Tools software, and we played back at 192K sample rate, 24-bit. Now, when it comes to the actual accuracy of this audio test, whether you're using a streaming service like Tidal or Spotify, or maybe you're just playing back MP3s, that audio is generally playing back at a 44.1 sample rate, maybe a 16 or 24-bit. So the accuracy of this audio is pretty spot on. We're not too far off from that. Now, let's get into the conclusion of the audio test and what the actual results were. So when it comes to the Apogee Groove, this is an actual headphone amp. And what that relates to in audio is the audio volume of the Apogee Groove waveform. It's a lot higher compared to the audio volume of the headphone jack coming out of the MacBook Pro. Now, when we performed this test, we took the volume level of the Apogee Groove and we put it at full, 100%. We also took the volume level of the headphone jack in the MacBook Pro and we put that at 100%. So that's the difference there between the actual amplitude of the audio. Now, in my opinion, when it comes to the clarity of the audio, I think the Apogee Groove wins. Playing back the audio, there was a considerable amount of clarity and detail in the music versus playing back at the audio jack of the MacBook Pro.
At this point, I want to say thank you to Apogee once more for allowing me to review their product, and I want to say thank you to Eries for allowing me to come into your awesome space and take a look at this thing in more in detail and give you guys some awesome content. With that, those files that you see behind us will be uncompressed and available on my website, so you can download them and take a listen for yourself, because audio is so subjective. You may have something different. You may come to a different conclusion. Thanks again for taking the time to watch. Where can they find you, Cornelius?
You can follow me on Twitter at Eries Cornelius. Follow me on Instagram.
If you're interested in pricing and availability for the Apogee Groove, it will be linked in the description of this video. That about does it for me in this one, everybody. If you like this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down and let me know what it is that I can do to improve. Your feedback is extremely valuable to me. In addition to that, if you like this video and what you've seen on my channel, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, everybody. Take care. What's going? A recording engineer to this video. Why do I blabber? Fix your mic. It looks like a I think we've just completely lost control of this project.
Yeah, I'm a little bit all over the place.
Do you wanna start the whole video over?
We can. You want to start over from the top?